Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. That makes sense. Okay, are we ready? Captions are working. We've already called the meeting to order, and I want to make sure that we did have quorum, and we do. Okay, let the record show that we do have quorum. Also, I wanted to let the record show that Colin Waltz and Carrie Humphreys both are excused, have excused absence. Okay. Okay, we're going to start with the communication rules. So to remind everyone again, please try to identify yourself when speaking. Mention your name, and please wait until you're recognized before you speak, so that way we don't have overlap in conversation. That helps with the captioning, and that also helps with the interpreting.
Ready to switch?
We do have somebody that will be in charge of spotlighting, so there will be a lot of things happening. So let's just all take a moment to pause for that. We'll go switch interpreters.
Okay, so next possible visitor that's going to be in on our Zoom meeting is YouTube Live. And there's no way for them to identify themselves on the Zoom grid. So if you want to make a comment, just please email VDDHH.gov. Let me do that again and make it clear. If anybody from the public has a comment, something you want to share during the public comment time, please send us an email at info, short for information, info@vddhh.gov. Okay? During our comment time, we will recognize public for their comments. Okay? What we're going to do is go around the Zoom room. Please introduce yourself. And we'll start with, how do we want to organize this? I guess I'll call your name and you unmute or bring up your video. First, let's see. Tim, you're next. Introduce yourself, please.
Good morning. I'm Tim Patterson. I serve on the board as a parent of a deaf or hard of hearing child.
Great. Thank you. Susie? And give us a little time to switch windows. Here I am. Hi, I'm Susie Wilbur. I'm a member of the board as a deaf community member. Tracy said, thank you, Susie. Joy? Oh, excuse me, Roy. Excuse me, interpreter error, Roy.
Hello, my name is Roy Martin, and I'm a member of the board, and I'm a parent of a child that is hard of hearing. I'm also a cochlear implant user, and I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you, Roy. Next, Dr. Lewis.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Chantel Lewis, and I am an audiologist in the Richmond area, and I serve on the board as a professional member.
And Tracy said, next, Karen. Hi, my name is Karen. I was switching windows here. My last name, I'm a new member on the board, and I'm hard of hearing. I am representing hard of hearing on the board. I am also a cochlear implant user as well. Wonderful, thank you. My name is Tracy Branch. I'm chairperson for the advisory board for the deaf community. I'm a deaf community member of the board. So now we'd like to introduce VDDHH staff. We'll start with the director.
Jason's here.
Rath.
I'm here as well.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eric Rath, and I want to quickly mention Jason, another board member we need to recognize. I don't see his picture here. Are you with us? Oh, there you are.
I'm here, Jason. I represent hard of hearing. Have my VDDHH handy mask with me today, so it's glad to be with you guys.
Tracy said, thank you for joining us, Jason. Eric? Oh, okay. I'm so happy to see everyone in the meeting, and we'll turn it over to the staff to please introduce themselves. Tracy, Rhonda Jeter, please introduce yourself. Here I am. Hello, good morning. My name is Rhonda Jeter, and I am the business manager here at VDDHH. Next. Tracy said, oh, I can't see all of the names of who's here. If you don't have your video on, I can't see you. Can you turn on your video, staff? There's Karen. Hi, I'm Karen Brim. I am a community service program manager. Tracy said, thank you. Elaine, good morning. Introduce yourself, please.
Elaine, you need to take yourself off of mute.
There we go. I forget that every time. I'm Elaine Zeal. Good morning, everybody. Really good to see you with VDDHH. I administer the VQAS program. I've been with VDDHH for 25 years. So great to see everybody. 25. Thank you.
All righty, let's see, next. Virginia.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Virginia. I am the administrative assistant with VDDHH, and it's good to see you guys.
Next, Brittany.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brittany Howard. I am the Technology Assistance Program Specialist Coordinator. I'm filling in for the TAP Manager today.
Paul? Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Stussy, Community Services Specialist for VDDHH. And I'm currently making sure that YouTube Live stays connected. And I hope you all have a wonderful meeting today. Thank you, Paul. Have I missed anyone? Okay. Of course, we have Rhonda with us captioning, and we have interpreters, Bernadette, and who's the other one? Amanda. Oh, sorry. The other interpreter is Amanda. Is Clayton with us? Is he joining us? I'm
Yes.
talking about the other interpreter. I don't have her name here. Oh, Clayton, I didn't realize you were with us.
Hi, good
I haven't seen
morning.
you in so long. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm working with Eric on the relay request for proposal, while the relay manager position, of course, is still vacant. We have our contracts are ending this spring, this summer. So I'll be working on the RFP and until the new relay manager gets on board. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Okay, I think that completes all of our introductions. Okay, let's see. First order of business is to review the draft agenda. Many of you, well, all of you have received the agenda with other attachments, other documents. I hope you've reviewed them in your email. If you have any changes, corrections, please let me know. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Now, remember to raise your hand so that we can document you on the captioning and with the interpreters. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the agenda? Okay, Roy. Roy made the motion to approve the agenda and Dr. Lewis seconds. Okay. The second order of business is the minutes from our last meeting. Please review them and let us know if there's any corrections, changes that need to be made. If none, may I see a motion from the board to accept the last meeting minutes?
Hi, Tracy. I wanted to, this is Dr. Lewis. And I wanted to make a comment about the minutes. Since we use CART for our meetings, I wanted to know if we can use the CART transcript for our minutes. I reviewed the minutes and I noticed some of what I said at the last meeting was not in the minutes. So in order to prevent that, is it possible just to submit the CART transcript for our minutes? And the second thing I would like to bring up is also, can the link or some reference to the link for the YouTube live sessions be included in the minutes? For example, when we just started the meeting, there was a comment made that YouTube Live was available and people can, send an email to if they have questions. But since we are recording our meetings, is there any way we can, just make sure that's incorporated in our minutes? I didn't see where that was incorporated with the last one. And I think it's important to make sure everything we talk about is included in our minutes, not just summaries. And I know I said a lot last time, so I'm thinking, why isn't that in the minutes this time? So yeah, and I guess that's something we would have to think about and include that starting with the last minute. If we could just use the CART transcript, which, gets all, it'll report everything everyone said in the minutes, not just a summary, and we missed out on what people have to say, especially with board reports. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Thank you for your comment. We'll let Eric or RJ comment on that, please, because there's a system that they're using for the CART information for the minutes, but I don't really know how that works. RJ, do you want to talk about that, Rhonda? Okay. Oh boy. First of all, the minutes are a summary of the meeting, a summary. They're not supposed to be verbatim. It's not supposed to be so wordy. So I was asked to make it the meeting kind of pointed and concise. So I try to summarize, make sure that everything is included, but often the CART transcript itself may be missing information as well. I'm not saying it's the captioner's fault. It's just the nature of captioning. So sometimes information is not very clear on the captions. And I'm not blaming the captioner. It's just the nature of captioning. It doesn't capture everything. So I am doing my best to capture the important points. And I heard in the past, if minutes were too long, if they went on and on, people tended not to read them, basically. And we can add information about the link to YouTube Live. Yes, yeah, we can easily do that. Also, any corrections, any editing to the minutes can be done at any time. So Dr. Lewis, if you would like to add some more information as to your comments or responses, please let me know. I'd be happy to enter that next time. There's not always a time to allow for corrections, but.
Hi, this is Dr. Lewis. I know in the past when I've made comments, and I've been on the board for 7 years, it's been fine. I just noticed with, this set of minutes, and when I gave my board report, a lot of the information wasn't in there. And I feel like, especially since this is an advisory board, when we give reports, it's important information, and the minutes are public. So I would appreciate the meeting, our past meeting in November, what I said in the meeting to be a part of the minutes. So I don't know how we have to do that. We can definitely talk, but I can't approve minutes when I know the bulk of what I said was not in there. And I do read the minutes, even if they're really long. I just feel that it's important. It's a public document when it's published. It's important for everyone to know what we talked about and not just a one-sentence summary or, a couple of sentences. What was in the minutes really didn't capture what I said. So we can talk or set up a meeting, but I can't vote on the minutes today. And I really would like for us to, as a board, to decide if we would like to include the CART transcript that would have all of the information from there. But we can talk later for that, but I won't approve the minutes this time. Thank you.
Roy has a comment, but first I would like to say with Dr. Lewis, sorry, today, block the mute. Today on the agenda, we will be discussing the previous minutes. So if there's something that you would like to add today, you can. And then after that addition, you can vote if you feel it is not required to wait until the meeting's ended to add anything. You can add that while we're active in the meeting. There is no time limit. So if you feel that there is a bulk of the information missing, so you can make that comment. So to kind of hold on to that thought, I would like to let Roy have the opportunity to share his comment.
Thank you. This is Roy. The beauty of Zoom and its technology is with the closed caption feature at the bottom, you can highlight that. You have a view your transcript on any meeting that is allowed by the host. So in addition to the CAR transcript, we can also get a transcript just straight from the Zoom meeting that could easily be digitalized and posted. Of course, the minutes are supposed to be in an abridged version so that we can track through, and then when public goes through those agenda meeting minutes, then they can reference the actual recorded transcript, which would be either CAR or Zoom. That's typically what we see. So the minutes should reflect the points of business. And then, but as long as we have access for the public to view either CAR transcript or even the Zoom transcript, each and every one of us at the end of the meeting can actually click that view transcript and have a copy of that. So that's just a suggestion. You know, the minutes being more of a kind of table of contents of our discussion, and then you have the details in two formats with the CAR transcript and the closed caption. Just didn't know if everybody was aware of that technology, but it's been very useful, and it is at the bottom of your screen where the CC is. You highlight it and it gives you that option.
Tracy, okay. For the interpreter, yes, that's the sign for Zoom. Wait, what is she talking about? Chicago. Okay, sorry. All right, so Dr. Lewis, is there anything else you would like to add as far as adjustments to the minutes? Or any information you'd like to add what has been previously reported?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit too much to kind of go through right now. It would take up a lot of time. However, I like Roy's suggestion. So maybe if we can add something to the minutes that says, you know, or have the CART transcript available and the Zoom transcript available. So if people want to read through everything. And I understand it's a summary, but I still feel like it could have been summarized a little bit better and in more detail. But if we have a way of just letting people know, we do have other options where people, if they want to kind of read through and get more information, then CART and then the Zoom transcripts are available. And I'll just leave it at that. And that was just a suggestion.
Eric? I do appreciate your feedback and having this discussion. We've always used CART transcripts to help kind of fill capture. So please, when minutes are sent out, you can reply back any adjustments that you have. So for today, maybe you could abstain your vote for the approval of minutes. And Dr. will give you a chance to add comments to either myself or Melissa. Once we do approve the minutes, it does become part of. I don't think that we can go ahead and add that once the minutes through. So once we have had, so I suggest we abstain the vote until we have Dr. Lewis's. VDDHH has always had the as one of you know, there's some of the CART that does deduct typos and whatnot. So we have the unedited version of the CART transcript. So for anybody who wants a copy of the transcript, it is public record, and it is shareable once somebody asks for it. So it is available too. I did want to share that. Tracy speaking. Okay, so we will table that until the next meeting. And then we will review the additions and approve that. Next on the agenda and the order of business is to hear report from VDDHH staff, starting with the director, Eric Raff. All right, waiting for the spotlight. Well, good morning, everyone, again. We're 1 month into the new year, but I'll go ahead and still say Happy New Year. I hope that everybody has been able to stay safe and healthy. Right now, you know, we're going through the trials of the vaccine all over the country, and that's starting to spread out. VDDHH currently are still following the stay-at-home order. I know we're all excited to get back to the office. Hopefully by fall, we will be back in the office, ready to go. But right now, we are still working from home. I myself am still at home, but I do continue to show up in the office periodically, you know, to check on things. And related to the YouTube Live, we have had some challenges. Back in November was our first time using the YouTube Live, and there were some problems with the connection. Some people in the audience were trying to watch. They were experiencing a lot of frustration with the captions. There was a lot of frustration with the spotlighting. And there were several other issues that we had, you know, struggles with seeing the interpreter. So we did experience a few challenges with the YouTube Live. We're hoping that this meeting, we have learned a few tips and tricks so that the meeting does run more smoothly. And hopefully by the next meeting, we can do a webinar style. I think that would be easily accessible, a little bit more accessible than it is with YouTube. One challenge that we have heard, it is hard to see the interpreter, and there has been a lot of challenges there. So we are still experimenting with the platform so that we can have access to the public to easily view the meetings. When we go back to in-person meetings, we will still continue to use Zoom for folks all over across the Commonwealth so that they do have access. I think this is going to be a really great function and feature to our meetings. From here on out, we will be recording all of our meetings, and it will be uploaded to YouTube. So possibly if those individuals who had missed, you can go back and watch it on YouTube, and hopefully the interpreter will be accessible and clear. A recent frustration with legislation this year. Well, we've had a long-standing special session. We had a meeting this past January, 30 days, which is typically, 30 days in odd years, 60 in even. This being an odd year, with a special session, it should finish up next Thursday. So I have been looking at the different bills that are coming across. Right now, there are no bills that directly impact deaf or hard of hearing individuals. So also, there have also been a limited number of bills that have been proposed. I think that they are in discussion, but they have had a lot of change over from last year. Some of the bills are related to disabilities and general in regards to special education. One of the bills is regards to handicap parking and handicap spots. So it's just disabilities in general. Nothing particularly geared at deaf and hard of hearing individuals. I do monitor what's going across, but as far as I understand, all the bills have been closed and there's none under consideration. The bills have already had their motions. I did want to share in regards to the budget. There, with 5 bills introduced, VDDHH asked for a small increase in 2 areas of our budget. So we have the federal, we did ask for a small increase because the federal funds had allowed us to spend the federal funds through the State Department of Education, where we provide the evaluation of interpreters. We had a small rate through the Department of Education, and those authorize us to, we were authorized to spend that and apply those funds for the Virginia Board of People with Disabilities. They had a grant set up for a pilot SSP provider program. And through that grant, we're setting up the project to use federal funding. And we realized that we did not have enough to be, included with that SSP grant. We did ask for an increase that would allow both the VQAS educational assessment and the SSP pilot project. So that was proposed for our budget. Also, we did ask for special funds as well as asking for a small increase due to last spring with the relay service increase, and demand with COVID response. So we did ask for some special fundings to appropriate for that expenditure since it has increased. We have been over budget, so we did ask for an adjustment. So we did ask for an increase to accommodate that overspending for the relay services. Right now, the budget is in with the legislation, so I am continuing to monitor it, and hopefully we'll be receiving that approval soon. Are there any questions before I go on? Okay, seeing none. In regards to human resources and VDDHH, you're probably familiar now that Leslie Hutchinson has since retired. And we all miss her already. At the same time, we are very thankful for Pam to continue working on with coordinating the interpreting services for the different state departments. Okay, we're going to do a switch up for the interpreters.
Thankful to Pam Dorman, and we thank Leslie for all her hard work in her position with VDDHH. We have had two rounds of interviews for Leslie's position, Interpreter Services Manager position, and we're hoping to make an announcement sometime later this month once we choose the new person to take over the interpreter program and services program. Also, I want to thank Clay. He's been a huge help as the relay manager. Oh, there's Pam. Hi, Pam. This is Pam Dorman. Would you like to introduce yourself, Pam? Can you spotlight Pam, please?
Good morning, everybody. I apologize for being late. I had to put out some ISP fires this morning. I am Pam Dorman. I have been working for the agency with ISP for over 20-something years. So I'm very busy, always providing accommodations for the state agencies and the courts. Nice to meet all of you.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you for joining us. Eric's saying, great. Okay. Oop, where'd I go? Also, I want to thank Clay for all his help while we had the relay manager position available. We are still recruiting for a relay manager. And we had two deaf and hard of hearing regional specialist positions as well. We're planning to have one of the vacant positions set up in Richmond and the other one in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So that's a project, a work in progress. And I hope we can fill those 3 positions this spring. I want to talk a little bit about elections, and can we hold off on our planned agenda a little bit? I want to talk about the relay. I did mention that the relay calls have really increased since last spring because of the pandemic. Now it's starting to level off, plateau a bit. However, we continue to see quite an increase in the number of real-time captioning. That is really on a big increase for real-time captioning. And we look over real-time captioning, RCC, real-time conference. We need to improve that service. For example, like with frequently asked questions, how can we use real-time conference captioning for that? Because there's a lot of contacts coming in from different places, and it's a very popular service. Also, Clay mentioned before, and I'll mention again, that we have 2 contracts with relay providers. Hamilton is one that specializes in CapTel services, CTS we call that, and their contract will expire in April. So we're working on that with Hamilton, and also Virginia Information Technology Agency, VITA. VITA is the state agency responsible for the RFP. So Clayton and I are giving them help, of course, writing the RFP. And while writing the RFP, the CTS contract, we've decided to extend it by a month for the CTS contract will be extended. So we're also, it's been brought to our attention that the Virginia Relay will be 30 years old this March. 30 years. I was like, wow, is that possible? But yeah, we've had the Virginia Relay for 30 years now. And we are trying to figure out how we can, you know, have a celebration of sorts. I know with COVID, we can't all get together. We have to stay apart. So we thought about posting on websites and then have a celebration later. We've not decided yet, but we continue to work with Ultratech and contract with Hamilton. We have a staff member, Eric Elvilar. He does a lot of our outreach promotions for our Virginia Relay. And he's been working hard, participating in different conferences, virtual conferences, and virtual meetings. Also, Eric provides training to businesses when they sign up to become a Virginia Relay partner. Also, Eric works with us. I missed. Let me clarify, excuse interpreter, Eric. We work with different Hamilton marketing projects. For example, we had a big promotion through transit. And now we're working on email, you know, remote area medical RAM, where people who are of low income can get their medical care, eye exams, dental care, health care. We also have some audiologists and go to help with RAM. VDDHH tends to have a booth at that event to promote. But because of COVID, RAM is not happening at this time. It's on hold. But we have some subscribers to email, which we contact truly about 10,000 subscribers in Virginia through the RAM mailing list. And we have a crazy advertisement.
Radio.
Thank you. And that's it for my report. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Tracy, back to you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Eric. Next, we're going to hear from Brittany. She has a report on the TAP program. Brittany? Brittany, can we spotlight Brittany, please? Do you want to follow the agenda, or it doesn't really matter? Would you like to go next? Brittany, are you ready?
I'm ready if you guys are ready for me. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Brittany Howard. I'm the Technology Assistance Program Specialist here. I'm really excited to be with you all to talk to you about some of the major accomplishments that have been going on in TAP. Before I get started, does anybody have any questions about the reports that you received regarding TAP within the packet of information that was sent out? No? Okay, great. Well, one of my favorite things about working with TAP is that we're constantly learning, because we constantly need to research about new equipment that's being released and is updated the latest and greatest. While researching about those devices, sometimes we find that our current devices have become discontinued. Within our recent research, we've discovered 3 of our devices have recently announced that they are discontinued. Our current doorbell, the strobe trine, is discontinued. One of our amplified phones, called the PowerTel 760, is discontinued. And our HD 40S, which is a phone that will amplify outgoing speech, has been discontinued. So right now we're working on finding a replacement that will be suitable to our consumers for those 3 devices. We're currently testing a new doorbell. We sent them out last Friday to 10 people who are on our evaluators list. After we get evaluations from our doorbell, we are going to send out a cell phone amplifier from Serene. Board members, if any of you are interested in helping us evaluate any equipment, please, please, please email Christine and let her know. We'll be happy to put you on our list and get the
Susie said, I'm willing.
Who did? Karen did?
Susie Wilbur.
Yes, Susie, email Christine. Let's get you on that list. Thank you. So that is an option.
Okay.
All right. So we are doing that right now. We've also just implemented a new consumer survey. Before the survey had a bunch of questions, and we had a rating scale of 1 through 5, which didn't really seem to get a lot of great responses. Our new survey has just a few questions where we focus on everyone's satisfaction with the equipment and services they received. And we also have an opportunity for them to provide any additional feedback. And the responses have been really great. Our rating scale now has become a poor to excellent instead of 1 through 5 rating scale, which seems to be a little better. And if you haven't had an opportunity to review a copy of the results from the consumer survey, I really encourage you guys to take a look at that, because I included some of the comments that were provided, and we're doing a good job with TAP. Our specialists are doing a great job. So I felt that was important for everyone to see. Let's see. We are also working with Atos Medical, which is a company that makes electronic larynxes. We're getting ready to do another workshop with them where we will discuss TAP and the equipment that's available, as well as other services within the agency. And then Atos is actually providing a course that will give speech language pathologists CEUs towards their license. And we've done this before. In the past, when we've done this, it's really increased our numbers for electronic larynxes for people who have their voice box removed. Just to give you guys an idea of how it's been increased. Back in 2018, TAP distributed 6 electronic larynxes. In 2019, we increased to 26. And then in 2020, during the pandemic, we distributed 24. And then as of 2021, January, we've already distributed 5 electronic larynxes. So that workshop has been a success with getting information about TAP and relay out to the community. We're also getting ready to start training our new specialist in the Region 3 area. More details will probably come regarding that later. It's still very new for us. And then last but not least, we have just entered our 2nd year in our new TAP and community service contract, which is going well. Of course, with the current health pandemic, there have been some things that we need to overcome and adjust. As a response, we have decreased the required amount of consumers that each specialist needs to serve. And most of our offices have become by appointment only. So walk-ins just aren't really being taken right now, so that we have so that we have time to plan for safety precautions, sanitizing, and all of that. And we are still keeping in touch with our contractors by hosting Zoom meetings to provide new information or to discuss anything that's going on with them in their regions. Does anybody have any questions about anything I just mentioned? Okay, well, thank you so much for allowing me to give you guys a report today. Have a great day. Oops, where's my
Thank you, Brittany. Wonderful report. Sounds great. Okay, so now next, Elaine Zeal. Elaine? Hi.
Good morning again, everyone. So, VQAS, it is going really, really well. As some of you may know, I had originally planned to retire at the same time that Leslie did. Then COVID hit, and we wound up suspending the testing portion of the VQAS program, and you all probably all know this, it was probably at least 7 months. Well, the better part of my conscience told me that with Leslie leaving, I did not want to leave at the same time and have potentially 2 new people, the program manager and a VQAS coordinator, walk into, I don't want to say chaos because it wasn't chaotic, but it was a lot to catch up with that 7-month suspension of testing. I'm delighted to say that we have done that. We actually caught up with a 7-month suspension in 4 to 5 months. In addition to that, we routinely test students, interpreter training program students from J. Sargent Reynolds training programs and from Liberty University training programs. That also happened during the pandemic, and I had, I think 28 students altogether this year that needed to be tested, that needed to have their results turned around very, very quickly in order to get their semester grades and to qualify for different things. I didn't want someone new to walk in with that. So again, we tested all the students. All the students got their grades in an appropriate time frame. And I'm in the process now of sending them, or I think most of the diagnostic reports have been sent to them. And the training programs have actually made VQAS part of their curriculum, which I think is very cool. I think it's awesome. So having said all of that, we're caught up. It's an ongoing process, but we're caught up. I have talked twice to Boys Town about reestablishing the EIPA testing portion, which we will do. I need to find out from them. They're very specific with their testing schedule. So it'll either be this month or March that we start administering EIPA testing again. One more thing that I didn't want to just leave out there for someone new to try to figure out how to handle. Boys Town is very, very strict with the proctoring of their assessments. And I think at this point right now, I'm the only person that's gone through the training and done the paperwork and all of that kind of stuff to actually administer EIPA written and performance exams. If I wasn't here, someone would have to go through that process very quickly to do the EIPA. So QAS is, I feel like, in really good shape. My plan at this point is to be here at least through June. What I'm kind of open for that, but we'll see. Whatever, I want to do what I can to make sure that VDDHH gets through everything, and a new person is comfortable coming in where everything is in good shape and as it should be. So that's my goal. Anyway, if anyone has any questions, let me know. I'm happy. I'm still happy to be here. I'm working most of my time from home. As a matter of fact, I had to come into the office actually to do this Zoom meeting because I am having a small spare bedroom transformed into a little home office for myself. And the noise was unbelievable, having floors refinished and sanded and all of that kind of stuff. So I'll have a lovely new little home office to work from for however long I'm here. All right, everybody, great to see you. Thank you so much. That's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have Karen. Karen?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Brim, Community Services Program Manager. I'll give you a update on what we've been doing since the last board meeting. Like Brittany from the TAP program mentioned, we are continuing to telework. Both our VDDHH main office, myself and the specialist, Paul Stussy, have been mostly working from home, going into the office only when required, something that we can't get done at home. The field specialists, the DHH field specialists, have all been conducting community services program related activities, as best they can at the discretion of their contract holders, being able to see which events they can go to virtually. Most of them have not gone to face-to-face events because most organizations have transitioned to having online events. And so our work looks a lot different right now compared to pre-COVID. I think everyone feels that their world has changed significantly since the pandemic has hit us. And so getting used to that and figuring out different ways to do business has really been a learning curve for everyone. I have continued to be involved with the statewide interagency team activities along with Director Raff. And right now that is mainly focused on continuing to do analysis for feedback from town hall activities and comments that we've held in order to be able to work toward a white paper. That project has been long because there's so much data there to go through. And we're all working together to try and put together that white paper, and we're hoping to be moving toward the finish line with that. I and Paul have also contributed to the regional interagency team meetings. I've been active with the Northern Virginia group, and Paul has sat in on the Central Virginia groups, and just kind of touching base with the various professionals that are working in those areas to make sure that we have an idea of what things are looking like for them. One overarching factor that everyone seems to be mentioning is mental health and isolation. And so just want to take this moment to make a plug for making sure that everyone the board, anyone watching this, make sure you're taking care of yourselves, because we're in a long-term, highly stressful situation, and across the Commonwealth, mental health care and crises are kind of on the rise. So just want to make that plug. Take care of yourselves. Community Services has been involved with the I Can Accessibility Project. That's different from the I Can technology program for deafblind people. The I Can Accessibility Project has to do with survivors of domestic violence, and specifically survivors who have disabilities. We've been working with them as they've developed training modules and content related to protective orders that's been translated into ASL. And right now, the DHH specialists are all being good enough to participate in watching training modules, and we're going to be having a training for them this month. That's one of the activities included in the grant plan. I want to thank TAP, Brittany and Christine, for assisting and coordinating that, and thank the specialists for being willing to participate in that really valuable education to help the specialists know how to handle a situation if someone happened to disclose violence, domestic violence to them, how to assist them in knowing where to get resources and that sort of thing. So that's been a very valuable project that we've contributed technical assistance, editing of film, captioning, and feedback on module content and setup. So that's been a project that's really worthwhile, and I think it's something to be proud of participating in. My report, I'm going to skip over the emergency management related things for right now and come back to that because that's been a significant part of my activity. I just wanted to give the highlights of a couple of other things. Eric mentioned the support service provider grant, taking care of the money, budgetary side of that to be able to support our future grant activities. You might recall that we were given the go-ahead, the green light. We're very happy about having support from the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities. And we had slated to start our grant activity for support service provider pilot project that was supposed to start in January 2020. And of course, because of COVID, we asked for an extension because with this type of training, we are not willing to compromise and try and do it as a virtual setting because the deafblind community and SSPs need and deserve to be able to have full-fledged training, and that would involve face-to-face interaction. And right now that is not safe. So we had hoped that we could start in January 2021, and we saw very clearly in the fall that that was not going to be possible because of COVID continuing. So the board was kind enough to give us a postponement of the start of our grant. So they've basically held that money and earmarked it for our project, but we have not started any grant activities yet, and we hope to start in January of 2022. So we fully intend to follow through with that. We'll monitor the situation into the fall to see whether or not that new start date. Think positive thoughts for us. We're hoping that we'll go ahead with that timeline. I've continued to contribute to various boards, work groups, task forces, most of which I was already involved with pre-COVID, everything from EHDI to No Wrong Door to the governor's subpanel on Secure and Resilient Commonwealth. There have been, all of those meetings have pivoted to virtual environment. And so a lot of them have resumed their meeting schedules after having taken a hiatus due to COVID. And so those meeting schedules have started to resume their normal frequency, which is usually quarterly. Community Services has supported a couple of interdepartmental projects. In November, we were able to collaborate with the board, the Department of Elections, to create an ASL version of their voter pocket guide And so we're really happy that we were able to complete that collaboration in time to be helpful with the election cycle and the voter registration cycle. We're hoping that in the future we can continue to build on that partnership to provide translations of some of their content to make their content more accessible to those who use ASL. We also revised our COVID communication card, which originally was something that we adapted from a pattern, a template from Massachusetts. And we created a black and white version of that because we had feedback from the community that the colored version, which was blue, predominantly blue and white with red, yellow interspersed, that was not quite as friendly to our deafblind consumers. And so we created a black and white version and sent over hard copies of that black and white version to DBVI so that their specialists would be able to distribute those in the field. And we posted a copy of that on our COVID resources page. The COVID resources page continues to be our main place that we can provide information and education opportunities about COVID. And we spent a lot of time in the, especially the first 6 to 8 months of the pandemic, building out those resources and making sure that page was as up to date as we could get it, with as many opportunities for ASL content as we could find. And so that continues to be the case. Recently, we added something that's not on this report because it was January activity, but we recently reached out to the Virginia Department of Health because we realized that there was no vaccination information available in ASL, either from the CDC or on the state level. And I reached out to them and said, for the sake of time, we would like to collaborate with you to translate basic vaccination information into ASL because there is nothing available. So we were able to do that. We actually released a preliminary version, then some of the vaccination information changed. And that's a rapidly evolving situation. So we will continue to update that as we need to. But that's a great collaboration that, again, I hope to continue well past COVID, to be able to create interdepartmental partnerships with other agencies to be able to assist them in making their content more accessible. We continue to provide information to anybody who reaches out about Virginia Relay, remote call captioning, face mask availability, clear face mask availability, reasonable modifications to policy, to make sure that accommodations can be accounted for. And so all of that continues to be on a daily basis, both state agencies and private citizens reaching out for information. So I'll circle back real quick on the emergency management side, because that's been a huge part of my daily work since March 12th, when the emergency declaration happened. And that continues to be something I'm devoting a lot of time and energy to. The partnerships and networking that I've established as through my role as the Access and Functional Needs Officer for the Virginia Emergency Support Team have been invaluable. At one point, someone jokingly commented when I first started with VDDHH that a consumer at a town hall said, VDDHH is the best kept secret in the state of Virginia. And during COVID, because of the networking that I've been able to do through this role, through emergency management, that has touched many, many agencies outside of emergency management, everything from the governor's office to VDH to the Virginia Employment Commission. It runs, I've lost count of the number of departments that we've been able to provide access information to about improving their accessibility. And so that's been hugely rewarding as a professional to be able to finally have a channel to be able to share out information that honestly has been there all along, 30 years of the ADA, and we're still actively educating fellow professionals to be able to improve accessibility. So I've been involved with a lot of vaccination related things lately. the Vaccination Advisory Committee, its subgroup with communications, and recently with VDH's preparation for training their people to work at large vaccination sites. And that's been everything from making sure that meetings can be captioned to making sure that the training content includes accessibility and interaction training for people at a site, making sure that the registration tables have a communication kit with basic communication information, so that when a person who has a disability or who does not speak English as a first language arrives for vaccination, that they can have adequate communication. So it's been very far-reaching and really rewarding. I'll end on a positive note. It's not really for me, it's more just a win for accessibility. I was really humbled to be included in a group that was recognized for the Governor's Honor Awards this year with a Health Equity Leadership Task Force through the Unified Command. And I was the only person included in that group that had to do with accessibility. And so that's a huge win to raise the profile of accessibility as a topic that's extremely important, because we all know that during COVID, providing information is life-saving. So that was a huge honor to be included in that group, and a great win for VDDHH. And hopefully we're not the best kept secret anymore. So if you have any questions for me now or later, please feel free to reach out to me. I can't summarize all the activities that I've had in the last year or even the last quarter. Just in the meeting, we'd be here forever. So feel free to reach out if you'd like to meet with me or email me. I can give you a much more full report of all the aspects of the work that we've been doing. And I can see Susie has a question.
Yes, hi. Really, I wanted to say thank you for all of your efforts. It's this wonderful work that you've been doing. For me, as a member of the deaf community, what I have noticed, there have been many people trying to educate different agencies, and then we get a win. I guess my concern is, how can VDDHH make sure that this continues? Typically, you know, for educations, we get the win, time progresses, and then there's still that breakdown. So how can we maintain this communication access? How do we keep this win? So that's just something to keep in mind. You know, and keep in mind, I've been in Virginia for many years, and I don't want to see all of your efforts to just go down. Your efforts have been recognized. Let's keep them maintained and going for the future. And thank you again for all of your hard work.
And this is Karen. Thank you for that, Susie. I appreciate your comment, and I completely agree. One of the long-term goals, my long-term goal, and I think for this department as well, is that, you know, as we've, the way I phrased it is that COVID allowed us to pick up really big rocks and saw all kinds of stuff crawling out from underneath of it that's been there all along. We all, you know, in our professions and in the community know that these issues have been long-standing. And I have at every opportunity made sure to emphasize that not only should these problems and issues been solved a long time ago, and that you know, they were existing pre-COVID, but that those fixes or those issues need to be taken care of after COVID. I would argue that we won't have a life after COVID. This is a new normal. This is a new way of doing business. And so taking this as an opportunity to create systems change and institutional change benefits everyone. And so I have emphasized at every turn that this is not just for COVID, and that when the state of emergency goes away, accessibility does not go away. It's a main emphasis in emergency management to be prepared ahead of time before an emergency. And in that same mindset, accessibility needs to be a given, not an exception. So I agree with you, and I will do my level best to continue to be a person who insists that we maintain the level of accessibility that we've managed to achieve and improve on it, rather than going back to not providing accessibility on a daily basis. It's just not acceptable to me. So I'll fight, I promise.
Okay. Thank you again, Karen, for a very detailed report and for all of the work that all of the staff has been doing. I appreciate that summary. Before we move on to the board reports, excuse me, I noticed Eric A. joined us briefly. I'd like to see Eric, please come out and introduce yourself. Anything to add? Excuse me, to the staff information. Sorry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Alviar. I am with Virginia Relay. I'm the outreach coordinator. I am happy to attend. Sorry for being a little bit late. I had a meeting prior to this. So a couple of updates that I do have for outreach in Virginia. As you know, it's been a full year, almost a full year since we've actually stopped doing in-person outreach. So a lot of the efforts have moved into a virtual form. So I've been providing different various presentations regarding our relay partner training, to telecommunication relay services, to CapTel information training as well. Those are just an example. Done through GoToWebinar, Zoom platform, also our Microsoft Teams meeting. So that is still currently going at the same time. So we've been doing pretty well with these virtual trainings, with these virtual presentations throughout the state. So I have adjusted to that. We, for attendees that attend these virtual presentations, the amount of attendees have increased rather than in person. So that has been a difference here in the state of Virginia as far as me traveling around the entire state. As Karen said before, you know, a lot of stuff is virtual. This is a new norm at this moment. So we are attending a lot of conferences. Some of them are live conferences. Some of them are not, where, you know, if we put our information on the conference website, and anyone that is interested, they can email Virginia Relay directly or me directly, and then I'm able to contact people with all the information for Virginia Relay. That is pretty much my update of what is happening in the outreach world, but everything currently is at this at a virtual level. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask me currently right now. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Okay, once again, thank you all, staff. Next on our agenda is board reports. I have to warn you, we don't have a whole lot of time. It's 11:25 and we need to close at 11:30. So please keep that in mind. And we'll try to include the board elections as well. Anyway, any board members would like to have a report, make their report? Any volunteers? Anyone? Raise your hand if you have anything to report. I don't want to overlook anybody. Jason has sent in a text that he needed to attend another commitment. So he's needed to leave the board meeting. Okay. So let's try to take care of the elections. And if I may explain, based on our bylaws, Article 6 says that the board members serve for 4 years and then have an election. The chair, the officers serve for 2 years. So I'm chairperson for 2 years. I've been on since November of 2020. Dr. Lewis is assistant chair, vice chair, along with me since 2020. So we need to vote for new or continuing the same officers. So let's take advantage of this time to go ahead with our voting for 2020 obviously is over, but 2021 and thereafter until November when the new elections take place for the next 2-year term for officers. Anyway, so I'd like to ask you to vote for the chairperson and vice chairperson to continue until November 2021. Is that clear? Eric, would you like to add anything to clarify this? Spotlight? Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Tracy. November 20th, 2021 or 19, we're supposed to vote for 2021, but we did not do that. We overlooked that. So we were thinking now we want to get caught up, get back on track for the remainder of 2021. This is the second year of a 2-year term, and we forgot to vote our support for them the first year around. So we want to make this official and keep up to date with our compliance with our bylaws. Tracy said, my understanding is we need nominations and then a vote. We don't need a second. If anyone wants to nominate to continue with our chair and vice chair, you can make that motion.
I have a quick question. This is Dr. Lewis. So just to clarify, we are voting for chair and vice chair until November. And then are we having another election for officers for 2 years or no?
Yes, right. For the following 2 years, right.
Okay, so another election in November, right?
Yes. Susie Wilbur, I would like to continue with our current chair and vice chair. I would like to see them continue. Put in my support for the two of you to continue, Tracy Branch and Dr. Lewis. I make that motion. And Tracy saying, okay, let the record show. Roy, did you want to say something?
Second. This is Roy.
All righty. Sorry, hold on. All my tiles are moving around my screen. Anyway, yes. Okay, so we have a nomination from Susie. And we can take a vote. All in favor of Tracy Branch as chair and Dr. Lewis remaining as vice chair until November 2021. And we'll have new elections for the following 2 years. Anyone opposed? Okay, let the record show. It passed officially. I thank you for your support and I appreciate that. Okay, so now next on the agenda, we're getting close to 11:30. Do we have public comments? Anyone care to make public comments? Has anyone sent in any email messages to be shared with the board? Virginia monitors that, I believe. Eric saying, I think Paul has been watching for that at info at VDDHH. Let me check with Paul. Here I am. Hi, everyone. No public comments at this time, either from YouTube Live or info at vddhh.gov. Neither has public comment. Tracy said, thank you, Paul. So, any new business? Need to bring up any issues for new business or additions to the agenda for our next meeting for 2021? Any issues, interesting issues you'd like to see discussed? Okay, and as always, if something should come up later when you're out in the community or someone says something to you, please feel free to contact Director Rath with anything that you'd like to have presented on the agenda for the board to discuss. We're always asking if there are issues to be discussed for the board to discuss. Okay, so before we close, adjourn, does anyone have anything they'd like to add? I think we had a great meeting, great reports. I see people have been doing a whole lot of work, even through the pandemic and all the adjustments we've had to make. I really appreciate that. Eric? Yeah, Eric saying, I wanted to mention that we forgot to add something in the board report. No, I asked if people had reports to make and they said no. So I was surprised, but we typically, yeah, thank you. We typically have some. I'm sure Carrie probably has something to add to the next meeting with all she's doing. All righty, if no more comments, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Anyone? Where is Roy? Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Tim has made a motion to adjourn today's meeting. Roy seconds and Susie seconds. Anyway, thank you so much for participating in our board meeting. Sure appreciate it, and hope you're all well, and I'll see you at the next meeting. Bye-bye.